Amy, and this is Live Around 5. I'm coming to you tonight talking about the therapy trap. What in the world is the therapy trap? Well, I think the therapy trap is when people are afraid to start therapy. You know, you might need some help. You know, you might need some support. You're going through something really difficult, but you have no idea where to start. So the trap is that you don't. And that is nowhere to stay. If you need help, it's super important to get it. And I think there's a few reasons this happens to people. I've been there myself. I speak from experience, and I've broken out of that trap, and I want to help you do the same. We come up with a lot of excuses when we're scared to do something, right? We are trained biologically to avoid things that we're afraid of. That brain keeps us alive. Worry about fire and bears and lions. But the modern brain uses that to protect ourselves against things that can actually, in the end, help us. Therapy, in my opinion, is certainly one of those things. The bottom line is therapy is going to be okay. It's going to help you, but you don't want to fall into the trap of thinking that it's not going to work, that it's too expensive, that it's too difficult. There are ways to find the right therapist. There are ways to start even when you feel too low to do that. And sometimes it's going to take some time. That's another therapy trap I think people get into is they think, oh, I'll make an appointment, I'll get this taken care of, and everything's going to be fine. Often we need to get to therapy because there are patterns in our lives, things that we've been through, traumas. I call it traumas all the way down. If you've ever heard the expression turtles all the way down in philosophy, I feel that way about trauma, is that we may experience something as a child, and then over the years that gets worse and worse. It gets compounded by other experiences. And therapists are uniquely trained to help us process and learn why we do what we do. And if it's not working for us, give us the tools we need and the knowledge we need to recognize that and do better moving forward. It can literally be life saving and life changing. So I want to encourage you to consider it as an option if you're feeling like you need some outside help. It's not about just an appointment, though. It is about a journey. And when you're low enough to try to ask for help sometimes, which I was recently, it's challenging to know that that help is going to begin with work. My first session was nothing but me crying. So, not necessarily super productive, but I had to kind of explain why I needed help. And that usually means talking about the stuff you really don't want to talk about. But what I'm going to tell you is that once you're past that, and your therapists have seen this before, this is nothing new to them, right? And it's important to be as honest as you can be, as communicative as you can be, and to do the work in between the appointments. That's the last piece I'm going to share with you, is that particularly in my situation, it's not just go for an hour, have a discussion, and then move away. It is reading assignments, it's journaling assignments that I'm actually a little behind on. Don't tell Joy. I need to catch up on those. And it's putting in the time to not just talk to the professional, but to process what they've shared, to appreciate and respect the process that it's going to take, and to give it some time. One of the things that I love is that I was able to find a therapist online. So, for a lot of reasons, this is important to me. I like the anonymity of it. The therapist that I have doesn't live anywhere near me. I mean, obviously, you guys all know I'm in therapy, but you're my BFF, so that's fine. We're part of this family together here if you're tuning in and listening. But there is a certain amount of privacy that you want to have. There is a fit to look for. And I feel like geographically, even though I've had therapists in the past, I never found such a good fit. And what I think worked for this moment was that when I went online to BetterHelp, which is what I'm recommending to you, and I have a link so you can get a free week if you want to try it, is that they had an extensive survey and questions. Why are you seeking a therapist? What are some of the issues that you want to work on? And it didn't make me kind of reveal the deepest, darkest, hardest things I'm dealing with, but it let me narrow it down to the extent that I found a therapist that was a really good fit. It also gave me the impression that if I had met with someone and it wasn't necessarily a great fit, that I would be able to adjust and find someone who was. And I think when you're face to face, and especially maybe in a small town like I live in, that feels more awkward and difficult. And this felt super easy. I also appreciate that it's online line because I don't have to get ready. I don't have to go out. I don't have to find a parking place. I don't have to leave the therapist's office looking like I've been crying for an hour, which I often am. And it lets me kind of come to it as my own self and be completely comfortable. And my therapist is too, right? I love that she's getting to work remotely. I want to encourage that sort of opportunity for other people, especially women entrepreneurs. And so I like that I found a good fit. I can go to it remotely. It's very affordable, in my opinion, and I use my health savings account to pay for it. So that is money that I've been able to put aside before that'll end up being tax free, right? So I put aside money. I don't have to pay tax on it, and so I'm able to save some money depending on what your tax rate is by having it in that account. And then I spend it out of that account. So it makes it more affordable. I'm also impressed. I feel like the BetterHelp rates are very affordable and there is help if you need it. I also like that they encourage you to share it with others, which is what I'm doing with this link below. Because if you'd like to try it, you can follow my link. You get a free week and I get a free week. It's basically their version of an affiliate program. And one of my biggest props is that I want everybody to have multiple streams of business, multiple streams of income, so that you're not at risk of losing everything in your income in one fell swoop. In the olden days, I think we would all work at one place and we would get to retire from there. They would help us put money into a retirement account and match what we did. That's just not the case anymore. And part of my challenge has been figuring out, how do I want to pivot and live in my professional life? I've been given so many incredible opportunities. I love the businesses that I've started, but my mental picture has shifted from, and this is really powerful, I always wanted to know, what do I need every single month so I know I'm doing a good job. I've got everything covered. And don't you know, I've almost always made it every single month. I'll give a wink and a nod to my parents who always helped me out when I needed it, right? But at the end of the day, I would say I need this much money. And so I will get this much money. And that's what I got. My mentality is shifting, and therapy is helping with this, to go from creating income to creating assets so that I have a bulk amount of money that's going to be throwing off interest, that's going to be able to be what I live on. Instead of trading time for money, instead of being an entrepreneur and always worrying about cycles, the idea is to create some long-term stability, because that's part of what led me to therapy in the first place. Was I lost a really important relationship, not to my choosing, and I had to find a way to address that, navigate through that, and manage it. And fascinatingly, after I got into therapy, we had two close friends pass away. We had a lot of other stuff happen in our lives. And so it's really been a rock for me. It's really been a place that I can go and make sure that I'm in alignment with my own values, what's important to me, that I'm not reacting out of a past trauma or a current fear, and that I am moving towards the life I truly dream of. And that's going to take a lot of work, and I'm here for it, partially because of BetterHelp. So don't fall into the therapy trap, and make sure, if you need some help, you check out BetterHelp. It's a great place to go. If you have another option, do that. Do what works for you. If this isn't for you, no big deal. But a lot of people right now are struggling. And if you're one of those people, you are not alone. I guarantee you, the most successful people you see in this world have their own struggles. Everybody does. And I want you to know that you are seen, you are cared for. This world needs you, and there's hope out there. If you need it, go grab it, because it is worth it. And we need you. I love you guys so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of your evening. And I hope your Halloweens were awesome. Mwah. Take care, everybody.